dead.
So I would recommend.
Hold on, that's actually not true.
And you do have to make sure you're getting enough.
Oh my god. There's some people out there who truly don't understand this. There's some people out there who truly think that they can get protein from broccoli, and it's not something to make fun of, and it's not something to be like mean about. Now at this point I'm like, why am I doing this video? Like this should have been deleted and buried and never spoken about again. Wow. How old was I? So for some reason, I was logged into my old YouTube account and I noticed that I have a bunch of privated videos. And one of them is this video, what you need to know before going vegan, exclamation mark, in April of 2019. So it was before the pandemic, right? I was living in my first apartment in Austin at the time, and I had just moved to Austin, I think a year ago, but I'm really excited to react to this video with you on camera. I haven't watched this video since I uploaded it, so it should be interesting to see if I still agree with everything that I said, and let's just see if anything interesting comes out of my mouth. By the way, I didn't introduce myself. How rude of me. My name is Kritika. I'm a registered dietitian here on YouTube, but let's get right into the video. Hey guys. Is it just me, or have all of you been bombarded recently with the message in the media to go vegan? People seem to think that the vegan diet is the best diet to have, or because they're vegan, they're healthier than the non-vegans. But there are some nutrients of concern, and everyone's telling you to go vegan, but nobody's telling you how to properly plan a healthy vegan diet. So that's what we're going to talk about today. By the way, just a disclaimer, anything that I talk about in this video or in this video, well, it's just this video right now, is not a substitute for medical advice. So please see your health professional for your unique needs, because everybody's different. Some of this stuff may apply to you and some of it may not. I think everyone should really be paying attention to iron, because one of the highest foods in iron are red meat. We shouldn't be eating so much red meat. So this is something, a tip that everyone can benefit from, but vegans especially should pay attention to iron. And a deficiency of iron is not fun. It can lead to weakness, just fatigue, feeling tired, paleness of the skin, and of course iron deficiency anemia. Some tips. That is very true. Red meat is probably one of the best sources of iron, and vegan sources of iron are just not very prominent, should I say. Like, it's really hard to get enough iron on a vegan diet, so I'm glad that I brought this up. And it is true that too much red meat is connected to colorectal cancer, and also not so optimal gut health, like poor gut health. So we do want to be careful with how much red meat we're eating. Good on you. Talking to myself. Okay. Let's move on. Some tips to help increase your iron. Number one, cook with a cast iron skillet. This will help leach out the iron into your food and help you get more of that iron in your body. Another thing you can do is add some vitamin C on top of it. So for example, if you're cooking some tempeh, which is a pretty good source of iron, add some lime or some lemon on top while you're cooking it in that cast iron skillet, and that'll enhance the absorption. Or have some oranges or some strawberries on the side. Good tips, yeah. Menstruating women need about 18 milligrams of iron per day, while men only need about 8. Yep. Yeah, so vegans need a little bit more than that. Here for some vegan sources of iron and how much iron they contain. My face. Oh man, and my editing, it's funny. It's funny looking back. All right, calcium. Let's move on to calcium. More than just dairy. This is another one that I think everyone can benefit from, because we tend to not get enough calcium in our diet. Yeah. So some vegan sources of calcium are leafy greens like collard greens, broccoli, bok choy, but the problem is you need to eat a lot of these to get a good amount of calcium. And unfortunately, lactose, which is found in milk, does help absorption of calcium. So the dairy kind of has a little bit of an advantage here. But here are some tips to help you. Take advantage of fortified soy milk and fortified almond milk. I cannot emphasize this enough. Make sure that your non-dairy milks are fortified, because sometimes they're not. Add at least 1 to 2 if possible, servings, which is 1 full cup, 2 cups of green leafy vegetables for every single meal. Can I just say, like, I feel like I'm getting this really intense vibe. Like, why am I so intense? It feels very like Some of them are not fortified. Oh my God, like calm down. It's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay. So 2 minutes into the video and I'm not a very big fan of the energy that I feel from me right now, but let's move on.
Use tofu liberally. Have it at least every single day because it does contain calcium, and make sure that your tofu does have calcium in it. Make sure that it's fortified. Check the nutrition facts label and check the ingredients label.
Make sure that it's fortified. Check this, check that. It's like so intense. It's a little much. It's funny because I think I mentioned like don't be afraid of tofu because a lot of people these days are afraid of soy and they think soy is unhealthy and that it causes cancer and that it has all these negative health effects, and that's simply not true. And I actually have a video that I did, so you can check it out up here, and it's all about soy and all of the research on soy, and it's a very technical video looking at all of the different research and all of the different aspects of soy and different supplements and food and all of that, like isoflavones as well. So you can check that out as well if you want to know more about soy and tofu.
We can be eating all the calcium in the world, but it's not getting utilized properly if you're not giving your body enough vitamin D. Vitamin D from the sun is just not a reliable and safe source. It's not a safe way to get it because of the risk of sun cancer. Skin cancer. We aren't able to absorb the vitamin D from the sun if we're wearing sunscreen, which of course you should wear sunscreen when you go out. So I would always recommend that vegans take a vitamin D supplement. Most of us, vegan or not, are deficient in vitamin D anyways. It couldn't hurt to just take a little bit. Don't go crazy on it. Go get checked out by your doctor too to make sure that you're not deficient.
Yeah, I wouldn't just sit here and tell all strangers on the internet that are currently watching this video that you need to be on a vitamin D supplement. You should definitely check with your doctor first because sometimes it can be contraindicated depending on your medical history, depending on what medications you're on and all of that. So definitely get your blood levels of vitamin D checked out first, but usually 1,000 IUs is typically fine and does not cause any toxic effects. But remember, this video is for educational purposes only. But what did I say? So I said that wearing sunscreen blocks the absorption of vitamin D. This is actually quite controversial in the research, which is why I created a whole video about it, going over all of the research on vitamin D and sunscreen, and does sunscreen really block vitamin D, and does sunscreen cause a vitamin D deficiency. So I explored that in this video, but whether or not it does, it doesn't negate the fact that we do need to be wearing sunscreen because yeah, our risk of skin cancer and premature aging can increase if we're not wearing sunscreen in the sun. But that's why vitamin D is so important, because there's so many factors that prevent us from getting enough. Like, it's not really found in a lot of foods. It's difficult to get enough from the sun. Sunscreen may kind of block the absorption of it. So that's why it's just important to get it checked out and possibly take a supplement. Iodine and selenium.
I forgot to mention iodine and selenium. Oh, the sun is right there. I grouped these together because they're a really easy fix. So if you're eating like a whole foods, unprocessed vegan diet, make sure that you're just using a little bit of regular table salt in your cooking every once in a while, or maybe going out to eat to a vegan restaurant every once in a while, because that kind of salt is fortified with iodine. Iodine is an essential nutrient that's important for thyroid function. If you're using pink Himalayan salt and all of these fancy sea salts, they're not fortified with iodine.
What is this editing? I'm dead. All these fancy sea. What is that? Okay, yeah, this is true. I mean, facts.
Selenium is actually an antioxidant. So eat a Brazil nut every once in a while.
Cool.
There's really mixed research on if it's beneficial to take an omega-3 supplement, but it's something that really couldn't hurt. A vegan omega-3 would be something like algae oil. If you don't want to do that, there are some vegan sources of omega-3s like hemp seeds, flax seeds, chia seeds, and walnuts. These are pretty high in omega-3s, but they're high in ALA, not EPA and DHA. And if you want me to go in an in-depth video on that, I can, but it's going to be too much for this one video. So.
Yeah, so actually, if you have certain medical conditions or if you're on certain medications, then an omega-3 supplement probably is not a good idea. So talk to your doctor, talk to your dietitian before just randomly taking a vitamin or supplement, even if it's just an omega-3. Also, a tip, if you find that you're getting like fishy burps from fish oil or even algae oil or any kind of like omega-3 supplements,
it's more than likely that the supplement is not enteric coated. And oh my gosh, I was so proud of myself because my ex actually was taking a fish oil supplement and always getting these like fishy burps. And so I recommended the enteric coated one, and then no more fishy burps. So, you know, girlfriend dietitian over here. But yeah, EPA and DHA is super important for our cognitive function, and a deficiency of EPA, DHA, omega-3s can cause hair loss and dry, scaly skin and not very pleasant side effects. But let's move on to zinc.
Do you feel like you're getting sick really often or you just can't kick the cold? Zinc is a really highly underestimated mineral that helps boost your immune system. So this one we should really all be paying attention to it, but it could particularly be lacking in a vegan diet. Vegan sources: oatmeal, amaranth, which is also a whole grain, pumpkin seeds. Chia seeds are also really good sources of zinc. Basically nuts and seeds, but these are the highest.
Yeah, good info.
I don't care who you are or how healthy you are.
I don't care who you are or how healthy you are, how healthy you are, how healthy you are.
You have to take a B12 supplement if you're on a vegan diet. A B12 deficiency can lead to permanent nerve damage. That is irreversible nerve damage, so it's not something to be playing around with. Make sure that you're taking one, and make sure that you're checking the quality. This is the one that I take. Sorry if it's backwards, but
okay, hold on. My energy here, what is this kind of energy? I have like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad that I did private this video, but now I'm like showing it to everyone, so it's like, what the heck? But this just like shows how much I have grown as a person and just how much more understanding and less intense I think I've become even in 2 years. That is, I don't know, just the way that I said that, I just got this weird vibe from it. Like, you know, I don't care, and like it just seemed very, I don't know, like you need to be doing this kind of thing. And actually this was before I started coaching clients one-on-one. So this was before it might have been around the time where I had just started coaching clients one-on-one for Gold's Gym. So I didn't at this point really have a lot of experience in working with people in a one-on-one setting, except I did work in a hospital for like 3 years, but that's very, very different than working with one-on-one clients, because in the hospital, you see patients for like 10 minutes max. You give them education, or you're working behind the scenes on their tube feeds and TPNs and things like that. But with this, like the coaching that I was doing or that I was learning to do, I think that made me grow so much as a dietitian within my career, and just in learning how to work with people and how to be understanding and just gentle and just understanding more and learning more about the science of behavior change and what motivates people to actually change, because it's not about being forceful and aggressive and like you need to be doing this kind of thing that helps people in the long term. It's really about helping them find healthy habits and all that. Anyways, that's a different thing. But yeah, I just noticed a weird energy about myself. And please, if you are enjoying this video, do me a favor and hit that like button, because now at this point I'm like, why am I doing this video? Like this should have been deleted and buried and never spoken about again. It has 178 views and 3 likes. But so 178 people suffered through this video, but now I'm making you all suffer through it as well. But if you're enjoying the suffering, let me know by hitting that like button. If not, hit that dislike button so I know if you actually are enjoying this or not.
Backwards, but it's a sublingual kind, which is a lot better absorbed than one that you just swallow. Make sure you get the one that's sublingual. The type of B12 is also important. So
hold on, that's actually not true. And I recently read this book by Dr. Roman Pawlik, something like that. I'll put it here. But he goes over all of the research that has been done on vitamin B12. This guy is super passionate about B12. He has a PhD. He does a bunch of research as well on vitamin B12. And in his book, he notes that it actually doesn't matter if you take the sublingual kind or the liquid kind or the pills. It's all pretty much absorbed the same way. Even if you take methylcobalamin versus cyanocobalamin, these are both different forms of B12, but honestly, at the end of the day, it really doesn't matter which one you choose. I believe that cyanocobalamin tends to be a little bit cheaper. So if you're looking for a less expensive option, you can go for that one. But in terms of how it's absorbed or for your health or anything like that, it really doesn't matter what kind you take. And the liquid ones are typically so expensive for no reason because they aren't absorbed any better. This just goes to show how much
we learn over the years, and especially in the field of nutrition, it's always changing, it's always evolving, there's always new studies coming out about things. So it's good to stay on top of things and keep up to date, because sometimes we may learn something but then more research comes out that kind of contradicts it, and it's stronger research, it's well done research. It is true what I said about the nerve damage thing. Even vegetarians actually and vegans both should be on a B12 supplement. Spitting facts here, but the way that I'm saying it, I mean,
is better absorbed than methylcobalamin. This particular one has 1,000 micrograms of B12 in it, 16,000% of your daily value, which is absolutely ridiculous. Most of that is going to get peed out. But this is good for someone that forgets to take vitamins, because you only have to take something like this once a week or once every 2 weeks and you're going to be good on your B12.
Depending on if you're deficient or not. Like if you are deficient, you're gonna need a higher dose and you're gonna need a very specific schedule, and your doctor or dietitian will be able to tell you how much to take, how many times a week, what your weekly like dosage should be. But for preventative, I guess what I'm saying is like to prevent a deficiency, you just need to take it like a few times a week.
But make sure that you do take your B12.
Make sure. I'm like, make sure that you take it. It's like, it's almost like I'm thinking that by me saying, make sure that you take it, that everyone's gonna be like,
Oh, now that I've seen this random like person on YouTube that has 74 subscribers. I don't know who she is, and she says make sure that I take my B12. I'm now gonna take it. Problem solved.
it's almost like I thought that me saying this was going to motivate behavior and motivate people to actually take it. Like people were gonna be running to the store after they saw this video and get their B12. But that's not how humans work, and that's not how behavior works. That's not how we respond to things. But I think that's probably what I thought at that time.
This video wouldn't be complete if I didn't talk about protein. And I love how these days vegans are just like, oh, we don't even have to think about protein, we get enough protein. But yes, vegans do. You do have to think about protein, and you do have to make sure you're getting enough.
Oh my god. Crazy vegan says, I get all the protein I need from broccoli. Cue eye roll. That's like, I don't know. Like, see, that's just something that I would never say now. It's so sarcastic and just kind of like unnecessarily mean or unnecessarily rude, when there's some people out there who truly don't understand this. There's some people out there who truly think that they can get protein from broccoli, and it's not something to make fun of, and it's not something to be like mean about. It's just something to, that's why I'm here. Like I want to educate people, but in a kind way. But anyways, I'm kind of scared about what I'm going to say next. Let's keep watching.
Protein, and you do have to make sure you're getting enough, because it can be very easy to just slack off on it and not get enough in a day. And protein is so important because it's so satiating, especially if you're trying to lose weight. It's good to have some source of protein in every single meal to help keep you full and help build muscle, which in turn will help you lose weight. Beans, edamame, lentils, tofu, tempeh, hemp seeds, all of these are really good high protein vegan sources. Soybeans and edamame and tofu and hemp seeds being the complete protein sources. There's been some recent myths about how we need to eat the full amino acid profile in every single meal to get that protein molecule to be built efficiently. For example, we used to think that we need to eat rice and beans together so to contain all of the essential amino acids that they're both lacking in one meal. But that myth has recently been debunked. We don't have to consume it in that meal. As long as we're consuming a variety of protein products sometime in the day and we're getting all of those essential amino acids, we're going to be able to make that complete protein.
That is right. That is correct. Spitting facts.
Okay. I've listed here the amount of protein that we need per day. It's based on your weight and your activity level. So pay attention to that and make sure you're adding a good protein source in every single meal. Tip, when you don't feel like working out but you know you probably should, just wear your workout clothes and just sit around or walk around, and then you'll feel stupid, and then maybe you'll go work out. Or maybe you won't. Or maybe you will.
Okay. Wow. How old was I back then? 2019? You know, I'm just glad that I'm a different person now. Like, I can just see how much I've grown. I felt the vibes coming from the computer and I didn't like it. I wasn't a fan, but I think it was actually good information. Like, the stuff that I was saying was good information. It actually reminded me to plan my meals a little bit better and to think about things like iron. Even if you're not a vegan, like you can still become easily deficient in things like calcium. So let me know what your vibe was from old me and current me, because the vibe I was giving off in that video, it was not for me. But I would love to know your thoughts in the comments. I would be excited to read that. But anyways, that'll be all for this video, guys. Code word in this video is pink. Code word is pink. Thank you so much for watching. See you guys next week. Confuse everyone else. Let me know in the comments. Talk to you guys later. Bye.